Hello, 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 everyone. I hope you're well. This is Nicole M. Louis, and I'm joined by my beautiful friend and colleague, Bianca McKay. Hello, love, the
Hello,
social
Nick.
workers career coach. So lovely to have you. This is going to be our second conversation, our second live case study. This is part 2, and it's an update. And I've been eager, Miss, to get you on here because all the amazing things that you're doing and the social workers that you're helping. We want to hear. I want you to be sharing what you are doing and how, and so that people can find you and get help. So I'm so grateful that you are here. If this is your first time watching, I'm Nicole M. Louis, the social worker strategy mentor. I help social workers start and scale their very own business so that they can have more work-life balance, so that they can work from a place that they feel more comfortable in, with integrity, values, where they're not working all hours God sends to make ends meet or to have a decent wage, and they are able to actually work in a way that suits them. They fit their business around their life, and they're still able to serve communities, whether it's in the UK or further afield. So I am joined by Bianca, who's one of my mentees, or was one of my mentees, because she's now kind of finished the program, but doing amazing things. And so I really, really want Bianca to share and talk about what she's doing, because she's doing amazing things already, and her business is not even yet fully off the ground. She's not completely fully independent. She's moved into semi, which is exciting. So Bianca, without further ado, let's start from, I can't remember, when did we do our live case study, the first one?
I
It's
was just
good
thinking the
fun.
same. It was a good few months, over a good 4 or 5 months ago now, if not longer. Yeah,
Okay.
it's
I
been a
thought
while.
so, but it feels like a good while. And thinking about where you were then to where you are now, we're going to come to that a bit later, but just briefly in one word, what would you say is different about you?
Do you know what? One of the biggest things now is that I have complete clarity. I know that's 2 words, but complete clarity on where I am, where I'm going. And at the time when we did the last kind of catch up, it was kind of not quite at the end of the program, but we
Mm-hmm.
were nearing the end. And of course, you have all that anxiety about, is everything that you want to happen and everything that you've envisioned, is it going to happen? Are you going to be able to bring it to fruition? In the way that you deem fit? Are you going to be able to help people? And you get imposter syndrome kind of poking you every so often to kind of take you off track. So that's where we were the last
Mm-hmm.
time. We had done most of the program. We knew what I was kind of aiming for, but nothing had been tested out or rolled out just yet.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so that's a big difference. Like the clarity piece, I always say, is important. Whenever social workers come to me and talk about wanting to become fully independent, one of the key things that I say to them is, you've got to be clear about what your business is going to look like, why are you doing this, and what is your vision for it. Because most social workers, as I'm sure you'll remember when we first started working together, you think of all the different things that you've done and you want to do all of them. And I soon burst your balloon and say, no, you've got to choose one.
Yeah. You
And
know
we
me, I
need
always got
that.
a hundred different ideas, 100 different things, 100
Yeah.
different ventures and things going on. So yeah, I did need to really tunnel vision myself. And I think
Mhm.
that's where having yourself is so useful, because it's that accountability. Every week, you need to be knuckling down and focusing. And every week, someone's going to ask you, what have you done,
Yeah,
um, to work towards that, wider goal. So, yeah, it's
absolutely.
definitely useful.
Absolutely. And I'm glad that you've got the clarity piece, because I think during the course of the program, I know we spoke and you kind of decided what you were going to do, and we built your brand and everything around that. But I guess it's good for me to hear also that even though you've done that, there's sometimes in the back of your mind, there might still be those reservations, because like you said, it's about seeing it come alive. And I think that probably happened when you start really believing that it's possible and what this could look like and the shape they could take, is when you actually started really working with people. So let's dive in and talk a little bit about the work that you've been doing so far, because yes, the business is not fully launched and there's still things that you are creating, services, products for your clients. But talk to me a little bit about the people that have come to you, and what have they been like? What is their profile? Who are the kind of people that you help?
So there's two types of people that have come to me so far. And fortunately for me, they're the people exactly who I want to work with. So people that aren't fully in social work roles yet, they're looking for an ASYE opportunity. Perhaps they're not being shortlisted for interviews. Perhaps they're not being successful when they're going into interviews. And, you know, they get disheartened. They start to feel as though they second guess if this career is for them. So I work with them and I help them through, this is through the consultations that I offer. I help them through just beginnings, middle, and end of the problem. So we deep dive on it. They have my undivided attention for that power hour, but also outside of the power hour, I spend up to 3 hours kind of going through, maybe preparing their personal statement, updating their CV, helping them with interview techniques and prep, speaking with local authorities, speaking with agencies. So there's work that goes on behind the scenes, but the deep dive takes place in the power hour. So that's one type of person that I've been working with so far. And it's been so, one thing I will say, Nick, is that when you know you're doing the right thing and it aligns with you, I'm never tired. So even if I log off at 9, I still feel energized. I still feel, you'll see it often on my Instagram. I have to put up my stories just how on cloud 9 I am. And it's that makes me know that I'm doing the right thing. But the other type of people that have come to me so far, again, it's through consultations that they want help, but they're people that are more experienced. So I have someone that I'm working with who is, I think, 17 years. She's been a social worker, fantastic social worker. But of course, being on, and I'm going to use this phrase, like a hamster wheel, which we know happens when you're passionate about social work and the to-do list never ends. So it's go, 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 go. Being on that kind of cycle for so long, some of the social workers that are coming to me who are more experienced are now at a stage where they're saying, look, I don't know how much longer I can do this for. We've had the pandemic, I'm burnt out. Where do I go from here? So again, deep diving with them. What are your interests? What is it about social work that made you come in, so that they don't lose sight of their why? Because that is often a distant memory for some people. They've kind of achieved maybe their why, or they've lost sight of it just due to the rigmarole of the job. And just helping them to get back in touch again with why they're doing what they're doing, what they want to achieve, what is their unique career goal. Because that's one of the things I think collectively both newly qualified social workers and experienced social workers have in common, is that thought of, what do I want? Not what the local authority or whoever I've been employed by wants. What do I want? So it's those types of people that I'm working with. But to be honest with you, it's people that want to take action and people that want to feel as though they're making a change, not just for the service users, but also for themselves. They want a longer career in social work and they want it to be sustainable. But they're willing to take action. That is a key thing for me. Like if we have a discovery consultation, which is like a free kind of touching base, they come to me with one problem and we solve that in 15 minutes. And I show them how quickly it's done when you've got clarity and insight. I feel if they're not quite ready, I wouldn't necessarily recommend that they work with me, because I'm going to push them. If they give me 100%, I'm going to give them 200 because I'm going to match that energy. So I need people that are action takers, you know, not just talking about how terrible social work is, because we know it's a challenge, but I need people to work with me that are ready for change, ready to hit the ground running.
Yes. And people that are ready to have a mindset of being solution focused, and because that means that we're going to be willing to receive the solutions that you have instead of putting up a wall to it and saying, well, that won't work. And so, yeah, that's ideal. Okay, so that sounds amazing. So let's talk about some of the results that you've had or that your clients have had as a result of kind of working with you. I'd love to know, like, what has been one person that has really stood out to you that you feel, wow, this has really shown me the power in what I do?
I think the people that are looking for employment and are completely disheartened and don't have confidence in themselves again, and then seeing them get out there, do the interviews, ask for feedback when it doesn't go so well, you know, and challenge some of that feedback sometimes as well. Not be sitting there thinking, this has happened to me, I've not been offered the job, but what do I do? And sit down and I don't want to say wallow in self-pity, because that sounds quite unreasonable, but stay in that stuck place of I haven't made progress, to then see them thriving, being offered jobs where they've got options. For me, that is the biggest thing, because I hate when people feel stifled and as though they don't have a choice. I love to get them from that point of, oh my word, is this for me, to, oh my goodness, yes, it is. I've now got options. I know myself again. I know what I want to do. And my career is one part of me. It's not the whole of me. So it's two sides, I guess. People that are on literally the brink of burnout and handing in their resignation and reminding them, no, you're here for a reason. You have so much to offer. And, you know, I'm a firm believer in staff retention as well. And I am very passionate about the culture of social work. So if we can keep people in the profession healthily, to me, that's a win-win. So those are the types of people that I'd say stand out the most to me so far, because they're people that were literally on their way out and are now like, you know what, I'm here to stay and I feel good about what I'm doing.
Good.
And that's it, newly qualified or experienced. So it's nice to see it either end as well.
That's wonderful. I'm loving that. What I'm hearing in that is people are rediscovering themselves. They're rediscovering the role, also social work again, and falling back in love with it, and deciding that, yes, there's a place for me here. There's more that I want to do. I'm not quite finished. I'm not quite ready to hang up my hat, as it were. And that's a beautiful thing when people find it. Because I think, similar to myself, the social workers that come to me are people that are generally just deflated and they're like, I've had enough. I want out. And what I've found is that sometimes people really don't want out. They just want a different way. And so I love that you're able to offer them that thing where they can stay within the realms of social work, within the local authority, if that's what they're wanting, but they find their feet, they find their place, and they find their voice, and where they feel comfortable in being able to continue in that. I think that's so important. So I'm loving that. I'm loving the results that are happening and that you're out there doing. Imagine now with these people, I think what's so powerful is the people that you've helped so far. If you were not doing what you are doing now, that's like no pressure, right? No pressure. But that is really kind of like the importance of showing up and stepping into your purpose and not being afraid to, because those people have been waiting for you to show up.
Can I just pause us for one second? I know we're live, but I just want to say this. Because my laptop pops up my Instagram messages, right? And I'm 99% sure I'm going to forward this to you on your phone.
Okay.
So you can see that I'm not telling fibs. But as we speak, and tell me if this isn't alignment, right?
Okay.
And knowing that you're doing the right thing. So as we speak, I've just had an email from one of my mentees saying that she's on my 12-week program. So she's on a 12-week program with me. And I could actually cry. She said that she's been accepted for a job. Now, this is a prime example of what I mean. I'm going to screenshot this and send it to you. But it couldn't happen at a better time, 6:25, right in the middle of our live, of all days. And you know, when it's just like, you just said it as this come through. If I didn't meet these people, they don't realize how much joy they bring me when I see them happy and joyful and knowing, you know, like just finding that power within themselves again is huge. So I'm going to send this over to you. But
that is exciting. That is exciting. I'm very happy for your client. If you're watching this, congratulations and well done.
And you know what?
Huge. It's
nobody
huge.
deserves it more.
This is what we talk about, that ripple effect. Right. And I say this because it completely resonates with me with what you're saying, because, you know, I think about myself stepping into the role that I'm in and doing what I'm doing. And it's crazy how God led me to do this. I didn't know this is what I was going to be doing. But the people that I've worked with, the people like yourselves that are in my community that I speak with regularly, those that have been through my program and what I'm seeing them going off and do, and the people that they're then helping, it is like goosebumps. If I was not, there have been times where I've like, I don't want to do, people know already, I'm not doing the social media. I do because I have to, right? I have to. And even then I'm not consistent. And remember, I've told you, don't do what I do what I say. So you be consistent, and you've been doing it and crushing it and doing amazingly. But it's just testament to the fact that, you know, there have been times where I haven't felt like showing up in the space that I'm in. But I often am reminded by the Holy Spirit that there are people waiting on you. There are people that if you're not getting up and showing them and doing this work and being a voice out there, they're not going to be on the trajectory that they could be. And so it's very powerful for me to sit and have these conversations with people like you, Nosenle, Sophia, you know, all of you guys, to be able to talk about what you're doing and how you've stepped into your space and now who you're helping. And I think that is really like community and connecting the dots, and it's powerful. It's powerful. So absolutely. I'm excited. I'm really excited for your clients. I'm really excited for you as well. So, okay, so let's talk about, so you've told me a little bit about how that makes you feel and things that you think about. Talk to me about what you see your future being like, your future career, and where's this all going?
So my future career, because now I'm on cloud 9 from my wonderful news. Do you know what? As long as I can do this, like I said, when I finish, sometimes with some of my mentees, for example, we might finish at 9 p.m., especially if they've got my last evening slot, because a lot of my mentees are working, even if it's not within social work, they're still working. And just to help as many people as possible. But I would like to take this a next step further and help some local authorities, because like I say, staff retention is something I'm very passionate about. When I started social work, I was so excited, and morning, noon and night, I lived and breathed social work. I was very proud to be a social worker, and still am very proud to be a social worker. But that passion was, when you start something new, it's just like roses, butterflies, all consuming. And I moved as well to a new area, and so it was just like everything can be focused around social work. I don't really need to do much else. This is my life. And so I'm not saying people should be as full throttle as me and not switch off from it, because ultimately that has a negative impact. But I think I would love to help in practice academies, in local authorities, go in, help them to kind of figure out what is it that we're not doing so right to make our social workers have that passion. I think there was a what report was it? I saw it recently, the Skills for Care report, and it spoke about the intentions of senior managers for newly qualified social workers versus what the ASYE experience was. And that was particularly thinking about people who disproportionately did not pass, who was from the Black and minority ethnic community. Things like that. I have people messaging me saying representation matters. Thank you for showing up on socials. I love socials, so I'm always there. And it's like, I want to spread that as far as I can. And I think the best way to do that is to be able to work with practice academies across various different local authorities and help them to figure out, as I say, where we're going wrong, where we can go right, and get that passion back. Because I think once social workers know that you're willing to invest in them wholeheartedly, and it's about the message and the image of the local authority, but also about what they can bring and what they have to offer, and they're a part of the movement, then they'll want to stay. They'll want to. So that's my thing. Staff retention, helping local authorities. That will be my next step. And also, I'm mindful that the real go-getters will work with me on a one-to-one, because they'll have that kind of passion and find a way regardless. But there are other people who may prefer it in a cohort situation where I come in maybe once a month, they don't necessarily want all of the attention and the intensity or the speed that comes with working on a one-to-one basis with me. So it would just give people two options, and it would show that local authorities are willing to invest in their social workers, which to me is very important. So that's what I'm hoping for. And also, sorry, on top of that, the membership area of that's still something that needs to be kind of fleshed out. It's there as a skeleton, but there's so much more I want to offer. It will include things where people can log in, access podcasts, things like that. So there's so much more I want to add from the website that people can access in their own time and at their leisure. So there's so much more coming later on this year.
There is. And I think there's from what I remember about what we created for what your membership's going to look like, there is nothing like it out there. I can't wait for it to get started, because I'm like, I can't wait to like be sending people your way. But I know that once that is set up, like, it's going to blow everything out the water, because there's nothing like it for newly qualifieds, and it is going to be an amazing hub. It's going to be an amazing community, and you've already started that community. You've already started that movement, and I think it won't be long for that to just like catch fire and go. So that is super exciting. So talk to me about the business side now, okay? Because this kind of segues, I think, really nicely into, we spoke earlier on about the last few months when we had our last conversations, where you were at then to now. Tell me a little bit more about that. Talk to me a little bit more about, because when we were on the program, obviously, when I'm sharing with you on the Accelerate Now program, I'm building the business with you, and I'm telling you the how and the why, so that you're learning the principles. But the reality is, like with everything, like when you do your social work degree, you'll do your placement. But when you get into the real world, when you're qualified, it's a completely different thing. So now you're in the real world of business, right? And you're doing it. Tell me some of the things that you learned on the program that maybe you think to yourself, I didn't quite fully appreciate it then, or didn't understand it maybe as well as I thought I had, but now I've really got it, now that I'm in it, the real world.
Taking action. There is so many things that I would think about, want to do, overthink, wait until it's the right time, wait until I've got this in place. You know, there's so many things you would understand because we work together. Even simple things, I'm sure I can share this here, but simple things like my logo.
Mhm.
You guys, Nick had to say to me, Bianca, make a decision, and now let's run with this, because the down to the finest of details, because you're so passionate about something and it's going to represent you and you are your brand when it comes to this. I
You
wanted it
did
to
it
be
right.
absolutely, yeah. And when I think about it now, there's so much more to business than just my logo. And I focus more now on the value than I do anything else. Visually is one thing. Value is a whole different ballgame. So if it
Yeah.
means, for example, that I'll give a silly example, but if I want to do a reel and I'm
Mhm.
not in my brand colors, but I've
Yeah.
had this excellent idea, I'm going to do that reel and I'm going to post it.
Absolutely.
I'm not going
Yeah.
to stop myself. Before, I'd be like, oh no, it's not in line with my brand. I can't do this, or it's not the right this. And all of those things just hold you back, you
They
know?
do. They do.
Um, so I find
I
in
love
business,
that.
because you have to be accountable, and especially with this that I'm doing, because I have, as you know, I have another business, but
Mhm.
this is like my heart because I am my brand in this. So I have to represent. And every time I get a kind of message from somebody that says, you know what, thank you for this, I look forward to this. Like I had one earlier in the week where a lady said to me, and I don't know her at all, and it's via Instagram, and she said, oh, thank you for your posts. I look forward to them every morning. And it's those
There you
things that make me
go.
think, when I get up and I'm tired and I'm like, can I bother to do another post today? That's the stuff that will motivate me. So taking action,
Love
being
that.
consistent, and not allowing the smaller details of things to hold me back, because it's not always going to be perfect.
That's
Um,
That's right. And I love that. And you brought up the thing about the logo. And I remember that. And do you remember me saying to you, this is something that you don't need to spend a lot of time on. Your people are not going to care whether
yeah,
you're using this font or that font, because they don't even know the name. What they
right.
will care about is this. And you've got lots of bigger things further down the line to go, right? Remember me saying
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
So said, so done. But that's okay, because that's the thing. And that's why I think on the program, it's a safe space for you to do all those things and learn on the way that what's important. That's why I kind of steer the way that I do and say, look, this is what you want to avoid. This is what you want to pay attention to. And depending on who the person is, yes, they will want to do it their way, where they'll have to kind of make the mistake sometimes and then come back and be like, yeah, you're right, I shouldn't have done that, or I didn't need to do that, or okay, let's do it this way. But that's okay. It's a safe space,
Mm.
you know, to be able to do it, because there's some people that just needs to do it. I'm a person, on the other hand, if you tell me to do A and B, I'll just do it. I say, because you must know I'm coming to you. Just save me the trouble. I don't want to make any mistakes. If you're saying it needs to be done this way, cool. But not everyone's like that, and that's okay. But that's what I like about the Accelerate Now program. We've got enough time. We've got 4 months working together, where you've got time to ask the questions. You've got time to try it, test it. And if it hasn't quite worked, we can talk about it and recap and redo things. And I absolutely love. I look forward to your posts also, because I do pay attention to them and I comment, as you see, and I like and all of that. And
Thank
yeah,
you.
I'm thinking, gosh, where did you get that idea from? This is so great. You've just got tons of content. And I think you'll notice also with how we created your business, if you remember, I did say to you, based on what you want to do, these are the kind of topics, but isn't finding content very easy, right? It just can
Extremely.
come to you, can just come to you, right? Because it's just flowing. And when you've worked with people and you know what you're doing and you know what the issues are, it becomes very easy to create that content, because it's just then becomes the time factor of being able to do it. So
Yeah.
I love that. And
But it
your
is
brand
easy.
is
It
lovely.
is easy. And I have to say, like, if we think about how people communicate the most now, you can be on a train or a tube looking down at your phone at some kind of app, be it LinkedIn, be it Facebook, be it Instagram. So I feel as though that is the way to communicate sometimes, without, before even having a one-to-one direct conversation. That is
Yeah.
like the front door. My Instagram
Right.
at the moment, and somewhat my LinkedIn. I need to get better with consistency on my LinkedIn, but by the launch, full launch, definitely that
Yeah.
will be on point. But with Instagram, that is it's like my front door. It's like me saying to people, welcome to my world. So it has to be
That's
consistent,
exactly what
because
it is.
otherwise, how will they know to work with me? And the content, the topics, yeah, it comes quite freely and naturally,
Mhm.
fortunately. And again, I think that's because you start to live and breathe what you're passionate about. So
That's
it
right.
doesn't feel like a chore. It doesn't, I don't mind taking up, half a day doing videos that I know I'm going to post later on, because it's an enjoyable thing, and we have our software that we use for our posts, and we can spend hours on that. So it's a joy. It's a joy.
We can, and that's the thing. I don't know about you, if you've found your rhythm, but I find it's all consuming for me. So when I'm in that zone and I'm doing it, like I don't want to see nothing or do nothing else.
Exactly.
And I get consumed by it, and it's like, okay, but I've got this that needs to be done, so now I need to take myself. I'm still trying to find that balance. I have the work-life balance kind of done, but the work balance between my businesses, between the things that I really enjoy doing. I love doing, like when we did the branding and we got your colors together and we did the graphics and stuff. That's like, I really, really love that side of things, and building the website. But that's the reality, is that's like not CEO stuff really, but we love it, right? So okay, so lovely. And I love your branding. I love that it's so fresh. It is really warm and welcoming. It's vibrant. It just pops out on the page. And I love your reels.
Thank you. Thank you.
And you can see that you enjoy doing it.
Yeah, I am. But you made a valid point as well, which I should have said about business. The CEO tasks. That's something I didn't understand when we were doing the program. And you'd say to me, we can spend X amount of time on this, but you see, when it gets to this point in your business, you're going to be focusing on the CEO task. I didn't understand that. There is such a huge difference between working on your business and working in your business. And I now have to diarize the difference between the two, because there's times where I want to learn something new myself that I can then later use to support my mentees and people that come for the power hours and the consultations. But that takes away time that I get from doing the consultations and doing work with my mentees. And more or less for my mentees, similar to you and I, when we were working on the program together, it's like, I know that in between sessions, I can still send you a message and say, what do you think of this, Nick? How does this work for you? And I need to be doing exactly the same for my mentees. So hence why one of them could just message me now. It's not her session. Her session was on Monday. So she will know B's going to get back to me today. She doesn't have to wait till next week. And that in itself is the pleasure, but it's also the time consuming nature of things where you have to be organized. Like now, I don't know what I would do. I had a diary all along. I've had diaries for years and years, I think ever since I was an adult, but I don't know what I would do now without my diary, because everything's color coded for each business. CEO tasks, working in the business, working on the business, who I'm seeing when. I don't know what I would do without it. So structure.
I'm with you.
Yeah, structure and organization is key. And I think if you don't have the discipline, it's not going to work. And one of the things that disciplined me was working when we was on the program. We worked on a Sunday. And so that meant that I was working basically 7 days of the week. And so that took discipline. Even on the days when we didn't, after we finished the program and it was time for me to work on some of the tasks and maybe fill in some of the gaps that I'd missed, that took place on a Sunday. So just realizing how much discipline it takes. It's not, there's a lot of people that will want to run a business and will want to kind of venture out, but it is, you have to be passionate about what you do, so it doesn't feel like a chore, and you have to be disciplined.
Absolutely. I love that, and I want to piggyback off the back of that and say further that, like you said, there are people that will want it, but they don't necessarily know what it really takes. Because like you said, even when you were on the program, I was saying it, explaining it, and we were creating the business together. But unless you're in the trenches and you're doing it, you're still not really going to get it right. It's just one of those things where you need the on the job training, as my relationship coach said. My marriage preparation coach said, you need on the job training, right? So there's only so much I can give you now, right? So it's one of those things. And I think that you're right, that the structure is the most important thing. And I think as social workers, we are used to, even people that I've spoken with some social workers that have come to me that say they are not organized. In fact, I'm working with somebody at the moment, and she said, it worried me when you said you're going to give me structure and you're organized, because I can see it, you're very organized. She says, and I said to her, that's not something to worry about. I said, that's a good thing. You're going to get organized and structured so that you can move forward, because if you really want to run your own business and be independent, you're going to need that. And so it interests me that as social workers, even though we work within the parameters of structure, and we deal with a high amount of structure because we're dealing with different legislation at any given time, different processes and deadlines, but yet we can still be unorganized. And the reality is that is because who provides us the structure? It's not ourselves. We've got the employee mindset. We turn up to somebody, they say, do this, do that. This is how to do it and when to do it. And we just say, okay, cool. And we just go like that and we get going. And then in our private life is where the chaos can reign, because we don't really have that structure. But this, you know, a program like Accelerate Now actually really teaches you real structure and helps you to become organized in a way that isn't chaotic or frantic, but that actually works for you, works for your life, and allows you to serve others from an overflow, rather than feeling depleted. I think for people like you and I we like things to become all consuming, we have to really rein ourselves in and not overexert ourselves, because we'll just be there 1 o'clock in the morning on the laptop, and you know what I mean, and on the phone if we could, and doing designing things. Sometimes I've done that and I'm like, Nicole, why are we doing this? Why have we not outsourced this to the VA? Why have we not done this? Why are we sitting at 1 o'clock in the morning doing this? Because I love it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. And I have to really sometimes do that self-talk. But yeah, the organization and the structure is hugely important. As you said, you will get to a stage in your business where you just don't have the luxury to really kind of mess about with some things. You will have to be very organized, very structured, but you will learn it. What you learn on the program, you're actually able to say, okay, yeah, boom, I could take that now and implement it, because you actually learned it. So you had lots of tools. What are some of the other tools that you acquired along the way in the Accelerate Now program?
Jumping out of my comfort zone and doing so, you know, with a bungee jump and knowing that you're going to survive, because I've had to network and I forced myself, especially to keep up with the momentum from doing the program. I forced myself, because it was the first time that I had invested so much time and everything else into something that nobody was saying to me, you have to do to pass this exam or do this course or pass this. It was a program I had genuinely interest in. So I then realized pushing myself out of my comfort zone to do that with somebody who I did not know and who now I'd say, yeah, I know Nick, like we get along like a house on fire, and so much that we've gained from it. I had to keep pushing myself out of my comfort zone, because you know me, I do a lot of my things virtually. So I've pushed myself into rooms with people that know so much more than me. And as I said earlier, I mentioned imposter syndrome. I have a workshop on it on Sunday, actually, because I've realized from that it doesn't disappear. At some points, I thought, I think when you get to this point, it will just, when you get to that point, no, it stays, because for as long as I'm pushing myself out of my comfort zone, it will come back to say, are you sure? You know, should you be? And you'll be like, yes, I should be. And you have to have those processes and that kind of self-belief and faith within yourself and your skills and your abilities and your knowledge and your social work practice or other skills that you're using, that this is where I should be, and I'm going to turn up here and I'm going to learn from others. I'm going to share what I know, and it's going to be a reciprocal situation. But you have to put yourself out of your comfort zone into new forums with people that you don't know. And that's something that I think starting off on the program with yourself doing that has given me the faith, because it turned out so well and I got exactly what I was told I would get. It's then given me the courage to be able to invest in myself more and more and more and keep leveling up, because I want my community to have the best. If you come into me for coaching, I want you to get the very best. I want you to, as I say, you give me 100%, I'll give you 200, so that we're matching energy and you're excelling. So I feel like that consistent drive and passion to grow, consistent kind of drive and passion to challenge myself as an introverted person, to take myself out of my comfort zone and push for those goals, has been a byproduct of the program, because you do it once and you can replicate. So yes,
absolutely. I love that. And I think, yes, I think that was one of the things that I recall about you on the program, is we spoke a lot about you coming out of your comfort zone. But here's the thing with you, is you're willing, even though you might say, okay, I'm an introvert, but you're willing to do the work. And I think that's one of the features of people that work with me, is it doesn't matter where you are. You might not have never heard of being independent. You might not even know what that is. You may have zero clue about what you want to do. You might be multi-passionate like yourself and want to do all of it. You might have some reservations and be scared about what it's going to look like and whether this is really going to work for you. But the key thing is about, are you willing? Are you willing to commit to yourself and invest in yourself to do it? That's the starting point. And then there's that next level of that, where you finish the program and you're now not just plateauing, but you're actually increasing. And I think I think what's enabling, or probably enabling, you could tell me if I'm right or wrong in this, but I think what's also assisted you and enabling you to do that increase and continuing to project and flourish is the fact that, you know, the level of clarity that you gained over the time, during the course of the program, the work that you've done independently also to find out more information. You've pushed yourself, you've been willing to do more learning. That has also allowed you and enabled you to say, yes, I am going to go out and do this. But had you have not had that information, or like you said, receive what you said you were going to receive, you'd still be back at square one and thinking, where should I go? What direction? It's the clarity piece that gives you that ability to say, yeah, this is where I'm heading, I'm going.
Absolutely. And someone to say to me, I could come to you, Nick, and we built up a trust quite quickly, because when you think about it, sharing your brainchild with somebody saying, this is my idea, you never know where that's going to go. You never know what's going to happen. And we know that there's room for success for all of us in this world. However, especially when you have an abundance mindset, but it is still scary to do. And I think from the moment I said to you, look, Nick, I want to help other social workers in their career. I want to help them reach their full potential and feel that passion that I had and flourish. And you said, yeah, that can be done independently. It was like, oh, somebody has validated that I'm not, because I don't know anybody at this time, especially when I started the program with you. Now that further doors have opened, I've met others, but I only knew you as an independent social worker, and I knew you through social. So it wasn't like I had a relationship established, came across the page. So it was like most independent social workers, I know they do a lot of assessments. They work a lot in the court arena. I've done that. I don't really want to do that again. Is that what independence is going to look like for me? And when I told you the parts of social work I really fully enjoy, and empowering others, not just my service users and clients, but my colleagues, and being able to really make them feel good about this profession again, and you said that's possible, it was like, oh, okay, let's go, you know. And for me, that's the crucial part. It's like, without that clarity to know that it's even an option, I would be still in the same space that I was in. And when I think back of where I was this time, well, maybe not this time last year, but November 2021, where I first met you, it's like, whoa, some big steps have been taken, because I knew it was an option. I knew it was a possibility. It wasn't just one of my crazy ideas. Somebody else who's done it is saying to me, yeah, that can work. Like, I think that could be a good idea. It's like, okay, let's go. Like, sometimes that's all you need, that one person to kind of believe in what you're thinking, believe in your goal with you. And yeah, it's a beautiful thing. So I definitely think the clarity at the beginning, because then you could build and build and build and build and build. Sorry, now that I've said November 2021, I'm like, really? Is that how long ago?
I know. I heard you say that, and I was like, wow, that really was it. So you've been doing a lot of work since then, and wow, yeah, that's a long time. That feels like a long time, because I guess we're in 2023 now, but it really isn't that long when you think about it, because you're working full time. You've got your other business, which you're partly merging into you know, this current business. That's the beauty as well. Like, so some social workers come to me and they already have a business which is completely unrelated, but there are always ways that we can pull things together. And so I love that as well. And I remember when I gave you the idea about how you can merge the two, you're like, and I think that's going to be, it's just going to be, that's going to be such like, well, how can you say, a bow on the string? It's going to be so lovely. Because again, that's not been done. And so it's going to be a beautiful thing. So, okay, so as we start to wrap up, let's just talk. Let me just get some of your thoughts on the program. What differing from where we were last time when we had the conversation, and now that you've kind of fully submerged yourself, fully done the process and the program, and you are now at the end of the Accelerate Now program, where you've actually had months and time to actually build out your business, and you're starting to utilize those income streams, because you started earning before this business is fully launched anywhere, right? And you started working with people, because this is how we set up the program, where I get you onto social media. We start doing that. We start creating your handles. I tell you what you need to be doing, help talk you through sales, talk you through your value proposition and how you're actually going to serve and help your clients. And basically you went out, you did it, you did the work, and you started to see the results. And so starting to earn, tell me what that was like when you made your first sale. And the reason why I say this is because it's not about the money. The main thing is about the fact that you're helping people. You number one, you've seen that this is really a thing, like that idea that I had that I wasn't sure about, somebody validated it, but more than this validates it, that people have actually come to me and I've actually done the work. They've thanked me. They've gone away feeling full. And I got paid for it. So this is real, where money has hit my account, right? And I'm actually being legitimately paid for my value. Talk to me and tell me, how did you feel? What were you thinking?
I did a little happy dance. I'm not gonna lie. Did a little happy dance because, as you say, it's so empowering to know that you can do what you love and it can help people. And when you know that, yes, the money that they're spending is important, but they're going to get 100 times more from the session. Yes, they might even get an increase in salary or get a job that's going to be 10 times what they're paying me. But ultimately, the biggest thing is that validation that they know how to move forward. They got that clarity. So when the very first person booked and parted with their hard-earned cash to work with me, I felt like, do you know what? I'm honored, I'm privileged. And I say it to people quite openly. You know me, I wear my heart on my sleeve. I'm quite an open book in that sense, especially when it comes to emotions. I always like people to know how much I value them. And I let my mentees know, and I let the people that book Power Hours know. The very first one, I said to her, you know, I'm very grateful. And I let her know that this helps me just like it helps you, because it shows me that, yeah, somebody does have that willingness to invest. And there are other people out there like myself who, when they see an opportunity, will invest in their personal growth, will develop their career, will, want to shine. And so, again, that's where I say, energy-wise, it empowers me, it uplifts me, it boosts me. And if they're bringing what they're bringing, I want to double that. I want to make sure that they really get the most out of it. And from that first person booked, the fire has been lit, and it's just now running, and it's nice. Yeah. Also, what's not happening is I'm able to say to people, look, this is what I'm offering, but if you're not really willing to take action and work on your action plan, maybe this isn't the right time. And I'm able to say to them, maybe we can work together again in the future. It's not, I need people that are aligned to the point where we are going to be working in collaboration together. It has to feel right. And that's something I didn't feel that and I still don't feel I always have when working for others. As you know, I do have a job that I still do, but until I launch this fully, hopefully, whenever that may be. But yeah, I like to feel like I have choice of the people that I'm giving my energy to and who is giving their energy to me. So the first person, they just started that because I realized I can choose who I work with. And it's a beautiful thing. It's very empowering. And
it is.
That person will stay forever in my mind, no matter where they go with their career. And I'm seeing them shine now, and it's beautiful to see. But whatever they do, even if they was to leave social work, it would always stay in my mind because they were the very first ones. But also before that, Nick, we had people, before my website was set up, before I had my socials, we were, I think, only maybe a quarter of the way through. And I had people that you'd sent my way, which is something I wanted to comment on, because I think, again, what that does when you're developing something is it shows you that you're on the right track. You have people that you can test things out with. And also it's you having that faith in me to say, you know what, I'm going to signpost other people to you because I know that you're onto a good thing. And I know you have the skills, the knowledge and experience to truly help them. So that in itself boosts you further, and that's another thing you get on the program is that kind of, yes, it's validation of your ideas, but it's also someone walking the walk with you, not just talking the talk and encouraging you and saying, see you next week, keeping you in mind. So it's all the things that we offer our service users, to be fair, in social work, that, we try to give unconditional positive regard. We try to make people accountable for their actions. We try to kind of empower people. You get all of that on the program and then some. But yeah, it's been amazing for me, I must say.
I love that. I love that piece. And I think, you're right. I think one of the things that I know, similar to yourself, and I guess this is what I teach, is that we never, ever want to just work with any and everybody. We have to have a vetting process because, as I says to you, that, it can be draining. You get the wrong person to work with and they're just going to drain you and sap you of all your energy. And you're kind of dragging them along, kicking and screaming, and it becomes a nightmare. You don't want that. You want people that are sure, decisive, and doesn't mean that they won't have some confusion because of a lack of clarity. But once they get that clarity, they need to be like on fire and like, let's do this. and you can pour into them by reassuring them. But I find that with my mentees, who are the mentees that are aligned with me and that I want to work with, they will do it up to a certain point, and then once they get to that point, they're off. And that's what I found with yourself. Like, I think it was the first, few sessions, there was still some, not sure. But how's this going to work, Nick? I can't see. And they go, don't worry, that's coming. And we got that in 2 sessions time. Don't worry. We'll put that on the shelf for now. But once you got it, that's it. Look how you're running with it. And so, and that's part of why I call myself a mentor. I lead with being a social worker strategy mentor more than a coach. I do both mentoring and coaching, but I'm more aligned with the mentoring, because mentoring is about holding somebody's hand, walking down the road with them, doing it with them. That's what the Accelerate Now program is, where I'm creating it with you. So you don't have to do the thinking. I'm creating it with you. I'm telling you what we're going to do, how we're going to do it, and why we're doing it like that. So when you're off doing it for yourself, you can pivot and know and understand the makeup of why you've created it the way you have, so you understand how to pivot when you need to. And I think that's far more aligned with me. That's more of what I felt I needed and would have liked. That's how I work and learn generally very well. And so I think when I was starting out, I would have loved to have the program.
Right?
So, and what do they say? I think they say be the person you would have wanted, or that you want for yourself.
Yeah.
So that resonates with me. So I'm glad that you have found this program, the Accelerate Now program, so useful, so helpful, and that it has set you up to do what you're doing and feel so self-assured and confident, and be actually going out there and you're actually making waves in the industry, because this is something that you are doing to impact and change the course of people's lives, right? That could have otherwise just left the local authority, and the clients that they're now going to be working with, the service users, the teams that they're going to be going to, is, something quite big. I don't think we realize the magnitude of it sometimes, but it's quite big.
It's true.
So so here's the final thing. Would you recommend the Accelerate Now program, and why, for other social workers?
I would recommend. Reason being, as I say, it's about having someone who is going to hold you accountable. There's no point saying you've got a goal or something you would like to do and not doing anything with it and just sitting there. I think having that accountability every week on the program to, as you say, do it with you as well, hold your hand every step of the way, explain what you need to do, how you need to do it, and why. It's a no-brainer to me. Unless you want to sit on the idea and just thinking, 5-6 months, a year's time, what did I do with my year? And it feels exactly the same as the previous, and I don't like to be stagnant. And I think anyone that wants to level up needs to reach out, find. And I always say, Nick, I think for me, I would recommend your program because it's the only one of its kind that I'm aware of. Myself, as I get out there more and more and more, I do come across other social work coaches I didn't know prior, but naturally you're in it more. You come across people, and I say to people all the time, it doesn't have to be me. Go with who you're aligned with. I don't ever have to. I would never feel offended, but I always think take action. And for me, in terms of building an independent business for yourself within social work in the sector, I can't recommend anyone else. I can only go by what I know. And I haven't come across anyone else. And I would say 100% recommend it. But anyone looking to take action across the board in their career, even if it's not me, go somewhere else, but do it and fly the flag of social work proudly, because we are here for a reason. We do make a difference, irrespective of things we may hear elsewhere. I'm not saying we always get it right, but it's a profession to be proud of. It's one of the most selfless professions, in my opinion. And we ask for very little. And we get very little.
Yes. And I was just going to say, actually, of all the strikes that have been going on, we haven't heard of any social workers going on strike. I don't think we've ever gone on strike before.
No. And I don't blame our health and teaching and transport colleagues. I don't blame them for doing what they're doing. But, I don't think there's a lot of sacrifice that we make in the public sector, especially our social workers. I think people don't necessarily always recognize it. And I just think it doesn't have to be that way. You can have a career that's fulfilling within the local authority once you have balance and you're not having burnout. And you can also have a career that's fulfilling independently, using your skills in the way that you deem fit. And if you need help to get there, you need to reach out. Otherwise, there's no point this time, as I say, this time next year, feeling bitter, resentful, because that then affects your practice.
Mm-hmm.
That affects the whole culture of the organization that you're in.
Yeah.
And that's another thing as well. Sometimes misery loves company. And we need to remember that our journey of social work is our own. When we register
Yes.
and we renew our registration, we do that on ourselves. We don't do it with the team, with the group, with the whole organization. So we're responsible for where we take our qualification and how we use it to impact others. So yes, I would say anyone that wants to set up independently, definitely inquire with Nicole, because I don't believe you'd regret it, honestly. And I can say that hand on heart. I can't imagine why you would regret investing in yourself and having the support to be successful. I don't see why it would be regretful. So I would say, yeah, definitely recommend.
So to tell our viewers where they can find you, and I'm going to put your website up.
So you can find me on biancamckay.com. See there. I'm also on LinkedIn. So if you search Bianca McKay, and then I'm also on Instagram. And I'll be honest, Instagram is the platform I use across all of my businesses. So it's the one that I am most natural with. Like, I get up, breathe Instagram. You know, for that reason, you'll see me on there every day. So if you don't see me on my website or on other platforms every day, at Social Workers Career Coach. So at Social Workers Career Coach on Instagram, that's where you'll find me on a daily basis. Anything to do with social work, growth and progression, that is where I'm at.
Yes. I love that. Thank you. And reach out to Bianca, become part of her community. She's got an amazing freebie for you, where if you join her community, she'll be reaching out to you. I think, is it on a weekly, fortnightly basis?
It's on a fortnightly basis at the moment.
Fortnightly basis, speaking to her community, pouring into you guys, giving you the knowledge, the gems, exclusive content, and you get a wonderful freebie that gives you some insights also. Do you want to talk to them a little bit about that?
So I don't want to give too much away, Nick, because I want people to actively go and take action to look and check it out. But basically, in my mailing list, if you join on my mailing list, you'll find out more information. One example is that the people on my mailing list this week are going to be attending a free masterclass on imposter syndrome, because that's one of the biggest things that holds people back. So the people on my mailing list have access to that, whereas the people on my mailing list that aren't on my mailing list, that may just follow me on socials, they're not able to access those types of gems that are directly going to help them to reach their goals this year. That's why we're doing it in January. So those are the types of things that you have access to on the mailing list. And of course, when the membership area is finally finished, you'll have access to so much more of that. But these little gems for the people on my mailing list just gives them a lovely taste of what to expect.
I love that. Oh, it's been delicious speaking with you, girl, and hearing all the wonderful things that you've been doing, the impact that you've been making. I'm so proud. Whenever I go onto my Instagram, you are always, girl, this girl is in my feed, let me tell you. I said, she's got another post. So wow, let me see what, and I'm there scrolling through. And yeah, I'm loving it. I'm loving it.
You.
And I've seen how your followers are growing, and it's all as a result of what? Consistency. So I'm very proud of you that you've continued, that you're doing that. And for any of you that are watching this and have got an idea that, you know, you've been in social work, and to be honest, I'm starting to work with even people that are outside of the industry, because people are coming to me wanting this support. Again, I'm doing it in a way that's very different, and teaching people a blueprint where they are actually able to create a business that wraps around their lifestyle with their income streams that serve the purpose of what they're doing. So they're not off doing crypto, property, something else, and then something else, and social work to make ends meet. They're doing it all within that, and they're going deep. They're becoming a specialist. That's what I teach you to do. And so, you know, if you are a social worker watching this and you would really like help, hands-on help, support, the information, but not only that, the help creating it physically, then, you know, you could do that and have my assistance in as little as 4 months, 4 to 5 months. And then it's about you then building out the rest with a clear direction of what you need to do. So this is where Bianca is right now. She's got a very clear insight of what she's creating, why she's creating it, what the components are. It's just about getting it done. And we talk about how you will get help to actually do that as well. So you're not having to sit there and do it all by yourself. And then you have your launch date. And we're going to talk privately, Bianca, about your launch date. Don't think that like escaped me and passed my mind, because you gave me the date and I'm like, why are we still semi? So we're going to talk about that, ma'am, in a moment. But yes, if you know you're wanting that assistance and you want to be able to move from feeling unsure, you may not even know much about independent social work or know what it's about. Your idea may just be like Bianca's was, that it's about doing assessments and reports. And as you can hear, it's not. It's very far from that.
So much more.
So much more, right? And I think when people first come to me, they don't realize the scope. They don't get it. And it's only when you're on the journey and you're doing it that you realize, wow, there's a whole big wide world of what can be done. And it's about you choosing what you want to do and how you want to do it. So, it's out there and it's available to you. I would like you to DM me. And please forgive me if it takes me a while to get back to you, because I keep forgetting on Facebook that they have this little private section where people have not yet contacted you and they're hidden.
Yes.
Finding people and they're like been there for a month and stuff. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. So if that's you and I've left you waiting there for a while, I apologize. But yeah, you can DM me, you can drop a post, maybe put a comment under one of my recent posts. That would probably be better even still. But yeah, DM me wherever you're tuning in from, YouTube, wherever. Email me, hello@nicolemlouis.com. And, let's jump on a call and have a conversation, direct you. And again, I may not be a fit for you. You may not be a fit for me. I may feel that you're not quite ready for what I have to offer, but I will signpost you and we can talk about when you can maybe double back. If you're ready to go, I will meet you where you are and we can move forward. So I would love to see more people, more social workers who want to experience more work-life balance, who want to see their vision and their dreams, their values come to life, and, have that validation piece like what Bianca had and the support to actually make it come alive. It's time for us to work together. So you could go to my website also. It's nicolemlouis.com. And this is Bianca's, biancamackay.com. Please do not forget to go and follow her on all her social media platforms, but especially Instagram, where she is. Go onto her website, join her mailing list. You will not regret it. Her content is amazing. I love reading it, and engaging. You've just done so well. I'm so proud of you. And I can't wait until I get the ambassadors program up and running. It will be done by the end of this month, because I'm going to have amazing things set for us. I want us to have getaways where I arrange for us to come together on a nice tropical island, perhaps, and do things and, vision plan and all those kind of things, and make it like a bit of a mastermind. Because for those of us that are now on this journey, we need that momentum. We need the community where we are like-minded, and we're going to support and assist each other. So I'm super excited about the future, and you're going to be hearing more from Bianca very, very soon. So we're going to love you and leave you and say thank you for joining. Thank you, Jennifer, Zinazo, Auntie Mabel, Danielle, and everyone else. If you're on LinkedIn and if you are on YouTube, Facebook, thank you so much for joining. It's been a pleasure. Thank you, Bianca.
Thank you.
Me.
Thank you, Nick. Lovely to see you.
Take care. Bye for now.
Take care. Bye.